Hello, dear students. This is the third and last session of our fourth unit of software testing, that is a defect management. And our today's topic is estimated impact of defect tech, and next is techniques for finding defects and defect reporting. Okay. Uh, so, what is the estimated impact of defect? So, you need to find out the estimation. Means what is the estimation? Now, everybody is familiar. What is the estimation? Okay. So, for fixing the defect, okay. So, how much you are going to contribute for identifying the defect, and how much you are going to contribute for fixing the defect, and how much process you are going to repeat. Okay, so accordingly you need to estimate the impact of defect. Okay, so actual impact of the defect can be relearned when the risk become a reality. If the risk become a reality, then we need to relearn about the impact of the defect. It is possible to estimate the probable impact of it. It is possible to estimate the probable impact of it. Some organization classify the risk as high, medium and low based on the some model. So we have already seen that there are the different categories to categorize the application or categorize the module on the base of their on the base of their impact. Okay, so we'll classify it in high, medium and low categories. Okay, uh, there are ways to handle the risk. Okay, what there are only two ways to handle the risk. Either we need to accept the risk as it is, or we are going to ignore it, or that means we are going to bypass the risk. Okay, so first, accept the risk as it is. If there occurs some natural disaster, then there would not be any solution for this. The actions or solutions to handle such risk are very costly. Okay, if something happens and your system collapse, so there is no any solution for this. You need to reprocess each and everything. Okay, so and it is very much costly, but you need to perform it again. Okay, next is bypassing the risk. The risk can be bypassed when the user cannot accept the risk, or no action can be taken to reduce the probability of the risk. So if the user is not accepting the risk, okay, and user if user is not able to means user don't consider it becomes a risk. Okay, so there is no need to work on it. So that's why that risk must be bypassed. Okay, next is how to minimize the risk impact or a probability. First one is eliminate risk. A risk probability can be reduced by reducing the cause of the risk. Although it is not possible to eliminate the risk completely, the probability of risk can be reduced to certain level. Okay, so we after learning the overall process, we can understand what kind of risk can occur while developing that particular application. Okay, so we need to work on it, or for minimizing that particular impact of that particular risk. So we need to perform some or we need to take some actions, and after taking that actions we can reduce the impact of that particular risk to the certain level. Okay, the next is a mitigation of risk. I think so everybody is learn about RTPLM, that is mitigation, monitoring, okay, and managed the particular risk. Okay, so what is the mitigation of risk? The mitigation action are planned by organization correctively. The risk detection can be performed by detective control. It is used to visual. So you need to identify the particular risk, that it becomes a reality or not. Okay, so that is called the mitigation. Okay, the risk have its severity and decide its priority accordingly. Okay, so according to its severity we need to decide the priority of that particular risk. Okay, the next is the contingency planning. It means the actions taken by organization when risk become reality. So contingency planning means you there must be a backup plan, should be already uh, already created for if the risk is become a reality. So if there is a chance that risk becomes a reality, so we have already there is a already some kind of action plan must be ready if the risk become a reality. Okay, there are ways which are already planned action by keeping in the mind that the preventive and the corrective actions might fail. Okay, the next is the techniques for finding defects. There are basically three techniques, we already aware about it. First is a static testing, second is a dynamic testing, and third one is a operational technique. So first one is a static testing technique. Here we need to review the code without executing the application. Second one is a dynamic testing. In this testing technique, we need to observe the code by executing it and identify the defects, then executing the test cases on it. Okay, so it is called as a dynamic testing technique. And last one is operational technique. We already familiar about it. I When we have discussing the bug terminology, at that time we have discussed about the failure. What is the failure? Failure means after delivering an application, if user find out the problem in that particular application, then it is called as failure, right? So the system contains the defects are delivered to the user, and then defects are identified the user customer, then it is called as the operational techniques. And after that we are going to work on it. Okay, so it is called as operational technique. Next is the reporting a defect. Finding and reporting defect is an important step in the software development life cycle. Okay, so we need to find the defect. We are going to process it. Okay, so there must be a each and every step or action you are if you are taking to fix that particular defect. So each and every action must be record or it must be report in the particular format. Okay, so that called is a defect report format. We are going to perform three practicals on the particular defect reporting. Okay, after the session I am going to discuss about it, right? Next, it is necessary to find a root cause of defect and prepare the document about it. The following are some points to be noted in reporting the defects. First one is give complete record of inconsistencies. Okay. Second, complete description of defect helps the tester and user to take preventive and corrective actions about the defect. So there is a need to have a complete description of the defect. Okay, so it will help the tester and for taking a particular preventive and corrective actions about the defect. Next is a complete record description. It also helps in the process improvement. Next, the defect report forms a base quality measurement. Defect report forms a base quality measurement whether the defect is according to their status, either defect is in which particular stage or which particular phase. Okay, next is the number of defects serve as a measure of software quality. Then it most defines the severity, priority and category of that particular defect. And last one is more defect means quality of software is poor. Thus the defect report is helpful in deciding the quality of software, whether the quality of software is good or not, or whether it is poor. Okay, so it will help to measure your software. So here your sorry, here your chapter 4 is over. I hope everybody is studying at home. Okay, so thank you.